Hello and welcome to Norwood Digest, NCM's news magazine show. I'm your host, Jack McCarthy, and we've got a great show. We're going to open it up with three lovely ladies from the WCC. We have Beth Goldman on the far right, Barbara Brierly in the middle, and Elaine Petherick closest to me. And first of all, what is the WCC?
WCC stands for the Women's Community Committee.
Okay. And this year we're celebrating
100 years.
100 years.
That doesn't mean that we're 100.
Well,
No.
Elaine asked me to ask you because she said you were there when they first started, what it was like.
I try not to talk about it, but yeah.
I had to beat you to that.
Yes, yes.
So let's talk about three things, but like
Okay.
the history of the WCC. Then we'll talk about, the thrift store that everybody knows that the WCC is famous for. And then we'll talk about the event that you folks are having. So Elaine, we'll start with you. Give us a little history of the WCC.
Well, when we started the 100th year committee, I was fortunate enough, I guess, to pick up an older book, one of our scrapbooks, and it was back into 1942. And when I started reading it, it blew my mind because 100 years ago, we were involved, the country, in World War II.
Right.
And these women came together, 10 women, $10, which they say was a loan, and wanted to start a committee to help because at that time, dads were away at war and mothers were working and busy doing whatever. And some of the kids were getting a little rambunctious. They were getting off track a bit. And so the women wanted to start forming different little groups where we could help the kids get into some fun things. And, they started Friday night dances. They started opening up the Balch School and having basketball games, right, just on a Friday night or something for the kids to get together with supervision and fun. And that's kind of like where I am right now that I've been reading about, but it was really, it was amazing what the women did. And a lot has happened since then.
So as that saying goes, necessity is the what is it?
Mother of invention.
Yes, right. And so there was a need,
Yes.
and these women decided this is a good way to fill that need.
Yes,
Very good. Very good.
yes.
So bring us what else? But what else do you know? Anything from further back? Or because was it 1925 that it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone know anything from that era? Not that you were there, but
Well, we have the scrapbooks, and we do have
Yes.
pictures, which we will be sharing with you. We've talked about maybe having something around town that we could post some pictures or not. And some of them, I think, will also be on our Facebook page. Did I understand that correctly?
Sure.
why not?
I
Yes.
think so, yeah. So it's really expanded. Elaine gave a great preview.
Right. So the thing that everybody knows about the WCC is the thrift shop.
Right.
So Barbara, tell us a little bit about the thrift shop.
So the thrift shop was initially, to support people that couldn't afford to buy stuff. And it has evolved. We're now in our 4th location. And in honor of our 100th, we did a whole renovation this year. New carpet and painting and whatnot. It looks great down there now. So we're down at 1091 Washington Street. And the nice thing about it, I think what the town realizes is that everything that is purchased from there, all of the funds go back to the town. And that's what the WCC has always done, is try to see what good they could do for the town.
And what kind of things do you spend the money on?
Well, a lot of it on scholarships. We do 5 scholarships at the high school, and we've just added 2 new trade scholarships. We have some.
So 7 scholarships now total,
Yeah.
plus 2
we have language awards that they give
awards.
out. We've funded trips for kids that are going, like down to Washington
Oh,
for
cool.
some kind of government thing. Some choral groups that have gone to competitions in other states. We've supported those. Beautification around the town, the area across from the post office. That was one of our big projects, was beautification of that. We've worked with the Trails Commission on
Right.
some of the things. We just recently assisted in purchasing a bench, a handicapped accessible bench up at the Orchard.
I saw that the other day.
Yep. So we try to keep, in touch with what's going on in town and where we can be supportive.
Yeah, you guys kind of fly under the radar in a lot of ways. People don't know all the great things you do. So I'm glad you're here to tell us.
We also sponsor all of the, a lot of the passes from the library. So when people go into the Kennedy Memorial or the Science Museum, we have funded those as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what do we have lined up for the celebration?
Well, I'm going to add to that before.
Okay,
Is
go
that
ahead, go
okay
right
with that?
ahead. Yeah.
Because it is such an incredible. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about this. This group is just so amazing, in terms of how much they give back to Norwood. And you're right that people have no clue. And it's not that I feel like we should be wearing shirts that say, "Did you know we gave you?"
Right.
It's not that, but just that people understand that there are so many ways that you can be helpful, and it does make a difference.
Right.
I mean, I have to believe that. So we also fund much of the music concerts during the summer and the 4th of July parade. Pretty much almost anything that you see going on, you think, oh, I wonder how they got that funding for that. We probably have put something into it.
Right.
So,
and before we go on to the celebration, I forgot to ask. So I'm going to go in the shop tomorrow. What am I going to see? What am I going to find?
Well, we get
Every day's different, I assume, right?
that's right.
Well, we have everything. We have children's clothes, we have women's clothes, men's clothes, pots and pans and dishes and sweaters,
Toys.
beautiful gowns,
Toys,
puzzles.
So it's like
everything,
it's like
shoes.
clients.
And we only sell things that are in perfect condition.
Yeah, they're very
Or very,
yeah.
very good condition.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Nothing ever gets, well, I shouldn't say nothing. I mean, if we use a napkin, that does get thrown away. But if something comes in and you really cannot give it to anybody, because we also take anything that we can't put in the shop, it's not up to the standards, then it goes to either the Salvation Army. We also have a bag for the mission.
Yes.
That goes into Boston to the
Yeah.
homeless.
That goes to the homeless. And then we also have bags that we keep that go to the collections from the schools. You know, they don't do it by weight and they get
Yeah.
money. So that the idea of reusing, which really does go back actually to World War II, you know, you don't throw it out, find a way
Right.
to use it. We do really try to do that.
And and where do you get everything? Is it donated? Do you purchase it?
Oh, yes, donated.
It's all donated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are amazed when they come in at all we have and the quality of the stuff. I mean, I think thrifting has become more popular now, but it's amazing how many times people come in and they go, wow, you know, what we've got in the store. So I encourage people to come down and check us
Well,
out.
I'm going to say that Megan and I should come down with a camera and go through it. What do you think?
That'd be great.
Absolutely. I think I think you'd be amazed.
Yeah, I think I would be too.
I think
Because I've never been in there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do that. What else about the shop that I didn't ask you that you think you
It's
want
just
to let
a
people
nice
know?
atmosphere
Yeah,
because
the
the people there are
customers,
nice.
it's almost like you come into almost like a coffee shop or something. We all know the customers, they know us. New customers come in too, and they're always, they stay.
They leave as friends.
They leave as friends, yes.
Well, we
Jack,
hope they
that's
feel
good.
that way.
Yes.
Because the idea
Yes.
is that nobody, there's no, you know, I know this from comments I've heard, not from someone in the shop, but sometimes people think there's going to be a judgment. I'm coming, you know, there's no judgment. This is
No, it's
smart
friends.
to reuse
Sure.
something that is perfectly fine to be reused. How smart is that?
That's good.
So.
We shop there.
There you go. Everything I'm wearing.
We
no.
pay.
Oh, we've done that. We've gone somewhere and said, "Did you?" Yes.
That's cool. All right, so let's make a date for that. Not right now, but we will do that. And so, Beth, tell us about the event. I mean, that's
Well, the event coming up is actually coming up this coming Sunday.
Yeah.
We are having actually 2 sessions. I'll tell the date for the second one afterwards at the skating club for Boston. They have been unbelievable. What a fantastic group. And yes, we are paying something, but they have been so gracious.
yeah. We've worked with Doug
Oh,
Zahib.
they are
Matter of
terrific.
fact, Doug's brother and I were high school classmates.
Really?
Yeah.
And he didn't hold that against you?
Well,
Oh,
he was
sorry.
also he also attended the same school. He's a little younger than me, though.
Okay. So, well, we've been working with Mandy and Mandy's boss too, and they've just, I can't speak highly enough about them. So there was a limited number of spaces because they do that on purpose, but we have over 200 people signed up, just over 200, because 200 is the cutoff, and they are donating free skate. It sounds funny to say free skate rentals. It's like an oxymoron,
Right.
but they are.
You can tell Beth's a librarian.
Yes. I also taught English, so
Oh, good
watch it.
point. That's a good point.
Free
And
skate
drama, and
rentals.
drama, by the way.
Free skate rentals.
know.
And we're having one on a Sunday afternoon, which this Sunday is. And as I said, it's closed right now because they filled up.
Sure.
But there's going to be another one on, I believe it's February 23rd. Is that right? Or the 22nd? It's a Saturday evening, 7 to 9.
Oh, nice.
We wanted to have more times, but they are just
Oh.
booked solid.
If you have not gone to that place,
It's great.
Quite a
It's just
quite a facility.
It's unbelievable. So we're thrilled that at least we're trying this, and we wanted to see, will people go? Well, at least from this Sunday, we know that they are, and we'll see what happens for the next next
that's
session.
date night, Saturday night.
Yes,
for
will
skating.
be-
Bring me
right.
back to the old days.
That's right. That's right. And then we have a number of other things that are going to happen. We have on the 100th committee, we have Julie Liddy and Joy Grinovic and Lori Shea and Mary Putzi, and they are so phenomenal. Barbara, of course, is our president, and we have come up with all these different events we're going to have. We have a banner that's going to go up in February because that's when the real 100 starts. We're hoping to have a Scooper Bowl with ice cream in the summer. We're going to be buying a block of tickets for Mamma Mia in the fall that's going to be done here at the high school. Those will be donated to the senior center. And we have a few other things.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And the list of people you just named, they're all doers. You know,
Oh.
those are the people I recognize every one of those names
Absolutely.
because they're all over the town doing things.
You know how they say ask a busy person
Right.
to do something? Well, I think that's what they did, and the people who work at the shop. Oh, you know, they have 500 other things under their
Yeah.
name.
But they know
So-
how to get things done.
Yeah,
So-
it's
Well, first of all, congratulations on the 100 years.
thank you.
Imagine, yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
And we got to do more things with you.
Good.
So-
thank
That
you.
sounds great.
Yeah,
It
and
really
so-
does. Maybe next time we know we're going to have a special sale, we'll have you come down to do a preview.
I could model.
You could model.
I'm a wonderful before picture model.
Well, we've talked about doing a fashion show.
That would be.
Oh,
interesting.
you're in.
I'll tell you. We'll talk off the air for this one. But anyway, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And,
Thanks for having us.
we'll be back with our monthly construction update up at the Coakley Middle School. it's that time once again. We're up at the Coakley Middle School looking at the progress. And Bethany, so much has been done.
Yeah, every month we're moving for sure. Right now we're in the A zone, finishing a lot of those floors or a lot of those finishes, and we're working our way down. So we're definitely getting to the finishes here.
And what's the most advanced part now? I always forget what order.
C, fourth floor is the furthest along, and then that's on the east side, and then we're working our way, that's on the east side. We're working our way west and down. So yeah, we have a lot of specialties, flooring, millwork, the marker boards you see, and they've been here for a couple months, and they're going to continue on through the building.
Yeah, I was surprised when we came in today. We walked by the gym to see basketballs. Not basketballs, basketball nets and backboards and everything.
Yeah, the equipment's all went in this past month. They're getting that gym ready to go. So the goal is to just get as much of the upper stuff done as we can so we can start putting that floor in, and then we don't have to protect it as much.
And so I don't know why I'm fascinated by the whole acclimation of the wood floors, but so when does that come in and how long does that take?
They're scheduled to deliver in the next 1 to 2 weeks, the flooring system, and then it takes about 1 to 2 weeks to acclimate, and then the flooring installer takes their time and makes sure that all the temperatures, humidity, everything's just right.
Yeah, just for those who don't know, just what do I mean when I say acclimate?
Basically, we want the wood to come into the room where it's going to eventually stay forever, right? So you want the wood to come in and you want to spread it out so that it can expand or contract or do whatever it's going to do in the longer term situation.
And on the way here, we walked by the auditorium.
Yep.
There's a lot going on. What are they doing though?
Yeah, we're doing most of the ceiling work in there. There's a lot of specialty ceilings in that space, and we are doing that off what's called the dance floor. So the auditorium is sloped down to the stage, so we leveled everything out temporarily with a scaffolding system. So the goal is to get that down within the next month, and then we'll start putting the seats in and doing all the finishes down below.
Okay. What did I miss? What didn't I see on the way in that you should tell me?
I mean, there's a lot going on. The above ceiling work is pretty close to done on the fourth floor. WTRH is actually right now in the process of going back, triple checking everything, doing our quality control process, then working with the inspectors. We'll do that to do the final sign-offs, and then we're going to do what's called whiting out. I think we talked about that last time. So those are the next big milestones, and we're going to work floor to floor on that, and then just again working our way down and getting those specialty spaces. We also have food service equipment that just is starting to get installed now, so those kitchen spaces are starting to get fit out. And then we've also just been working with Vertex and Margot and everyone with the town trying to make sure they have all they need from us for their furniture moving and everything in just a few short months.
I know, it's what are we? We're in January. It just it looks like a whole bunch has to be done, but it seems to be picking up now that everything's buttoned up.
Yeah, everything's kind of buttoned itself up, right? And the equipment, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes equipment, electrical work. A lot of things are starting to go live, so we're keeping everything protected, but bringing everything live and testing it out. And there's a lot of testing and running and balancing and this whole thing that happens kind of behind the scenes. So you don't really see that, but that's all the stuff we're getting into here on our end.
Yeah, and that was like I remember it was probably last summer, I guess, when they did all that work outside in the parking lots and everything, and it's like. You can't see all that work that was done is now coming up.
Yeah, Verizon's pulled their whole wire underground into the like no one has any idea that happens, right? But yes, all that stuff is still happening behind the scenes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll be back with Luke to talk about what's coming up next. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
As promised, we're back with Luke Apone from Vertex. We've talked about a lot of the progress with Bethany. So, what's ahead?
Sure, so much of the same. We're not seeing a ton of new work showing up, right? A lot of the subcontractors and the trades are already here, starting or continuing their work, right? It's very repetitive, right? Moving down in the building. We're working our way top down and finishing the building. As far as some of the new stuff we're seeing in some of the specialty spaces, we're like the gymnasium, we're seeing, basketball hoops and that type of athletic equipment being installed in there. Over in the auditorium, we're seeing some of the finishes begin there, whereas ceiling work is wrapping up over the next 6 weeks. Then we'll be able to take down the staging in that space and continue with the rest of the finishes in there. Similar, we have the black box theater on the first floor. We'll see some of the finishes start to take place there. And then with the mechanical systems, we're getting ready to start some of those up, the building mechanical systems, and start to commission those and get everything tuned in for when the building is turned over for the school's use in June.
And you feel comfortable we'll be opening in September?
Yeah, definitely. Very good for that. The plan is right now is at the end of the school year in June, the administrative staff will be moving from the existing building to the new building. They'll be working out of there for the summer, and we'll be taking down the existing building over the summer, completing the road work ahead of September, and then into the fall we'll be starting the field out there.
That's right. How many fields do we have to, or how big's the field, I guess?
It's
Can you describe it in football field?
Sure, it's full-size football field. It's going to be a turf field with various lines for lacrosse, field hockey, and et cetera.
Okay, great. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. We'll be back with more Digest. It's time for Your Town at Work. Jerry Slater sits with Kerry McCarthy from the Norwood Senior Center.
So before we move to the next segment, Carrie, anything else that you want, that's new here at the center that you want the public to know about, or anything you just want them to know?
You know what? Our lunch program, our intergenerational lunch program, I think that many people are aware of it because we're doing about 400 lunches a week. So we do know that people know about the program, but it is an affordable. It's $5. You get a soup, an entree, and a dessert. If you are homebound and need it delivered, we will absolutely do that. We will deliver it. We can do grab and go where you can just pick it up out front, or you're welcome to have it here. So it is a great service. It's not perfect. Sometimes you wait a little longer for your meal, but it's a group of students that are learning the culinary arts, and so sometimes, we may not have your lunch ready at noon, but it is ready, and most people are very patient. But it's a great program, and it's a very affordable option because you can really get 2 meals out of it.
Yeah, and when we're filming this was actually the dead of winter, or one of the coldest days of the year. So a hot meal,
Right.
that you can, especially it might be your main meal of the day.
For sure.
If you're a senior. So.
And some of them just have the soup for lunch and then save the entree for dinner, so for $5. And if you cannot afford it, just reach out to me. No one will know. We will absolutely take care of you and make sure you get a meal. Cost should not be an issue for you not to have a meal.
That's great. So you're covering all the bases. We've got the transportation, we've got the food, and we've got the welcoming atmosphere at the Senior Center.
All right, now joining us on Norwood Digest is Conor Brosnan from Impact Norwood. Now, Conor, we haven't had Impact Norwood on for quite a while, so let's refresh the people's memories with just a general view of what is Impact Norwood.
Yeah, absolutely. So Impact Norwood is a youth substance use prevention coalition. We are based in the health department in the town hall, but we really work kind of with all the different departments, organizations throughout town. We work with a lot of the local businesses. And really our goal is to lower the use of substances amongst grades 6 through 12 in the Norwood schools. We're federally grant funded right now through 2027. So we're really just looking to provide, the ultimate goal is to provide a healthy, safe community for our youth where they can grow, be resilient, be their best selves, enjoy their childhood.
And I noticed that you use substance use, which 5 years ago, that wasn't the term that people used. So what's the rationale behind that?
Yeah, I mean, really, words matter, and I think we all recognize that kids are kids. I think, since the beginning of time, since substances have been available, since kids have existed, kids have been drawn to substances. It's in their brain. They're looking to rebel. They're looking to try new things. And unfortunately, their brain hasn't developed to the point where they can always make the smartest decision. So we look at it as more of a growing experience for them. We want to delay that first use as long as possible. There's a lot of data showing there's a reason in the United States we have the drinking age 21, that the current marijuana age to purchase marijuana is 21. Because the longer you can delay that first use, the less likely that person is to develop an issue later on in life.
That's interesting. You're really focused on preventing that first use. But on the other end, when it used to be called substance abuse, I think when you call it substance use, it's more, because an addiction is an illness.
Yep.
And I think that takes some, abuse gave it a sting or a stigma that you really didn't need.
Yeah, exactly. And we're definitely trying to break down that stigma a little bit. You also, recognizing that we want to delay that first use, we also have to recognize that there are going to be students who make
Sure.
that decision to use, whether they're at a party, whether they're at home and they come across mom or dad's beer in the fridge. And recognizing that just because someone tried something doesn't mean that necessarily they're going to have an issue later in life, but also that, we don't want to label them, kind of give that negative connotation where you're a bad kid because you did this, because that's just not true.
Right.
They're kids, they all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
We all have been there.
Adults do too.
Exactly.
So you focused on kids. Now, I've met some of your, I think you call them ambassadors?
Yes, youth ambassadors.
And so tell me about that program.
Yeah, so we have a group here at the high school mostly. We also have a group of probably about 5 or 6 kids at the Coakley Middle School. Bob Blood is our program coordinator, and he's the one that works with them. So he's at the high schools Mondays and Wednesdays. He's at the Coakley Middle School on Tuesdays. They also meet with us Wednesday nights over Zoom. And then they're also involved in just a lot of the different initiatives and events we do. Right now, they're actually working with NCM to record kind of like a PSA where they're going around the school and just asking really random kids, why do you choose not to vape? And we're trying to focus on kind of those positive aspects. You know, I might choose not to vape because I play basketball and I want my lungs to be healthy. I choose not to vape because I don't want to disappoint my parents. I choose not to vape because I don't want to spend the money, whatever it might be. I'm worried about my long-term health.
Sure.
So they are really driving a lot of what we do because, you know, I like to think I'm cool, but I know I'm really not. And they're the ones that are here. They're the ones that are experiencing it. They know what works best when working with other students and kind of getting the message across. So they drive really the good chunk of our work and what we're doing. And they're also just a really fun group of kids. They're great.
So one thing we were talking before we started the show, you change a little bit of your focus, not to get away from what your main part is, but to help parents.
Yes, absolutely. So we are starting to recognize that I'm a parent myself, and I think, I'm not saying every generation didn't have their their speed bumps, but being a parent nowadays where most families have two working parents out of necessity, I do think a lot of parents are stressed out. I think a lot of parents aren't able to have the time that they would like to have to attend trainings and, you know, different speakers that we've been providing through the library or just our coalition meetings. So we're trying to get more creative in ways to meet those parents where they're at. One of the ways that we're doing that, we're actually part of a larger coalition. It's called Mass Call 3. It's Stoughton, Easton, Avon, and Norwood. And we've started a podcast called Where's My Handbook? It's available on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And it's been really helpful. We've had a lot of just professionals come on, guidance counselors. We've had a few people from Norwood be on there that, you know, just kind of really speak to parents and provide some tips, provide some feedback. We're actually currently trying to work with the library to get in a woman who's a clinical psychologist that works in Norwood, who's going to provide kind of a free educational series for parents. We're hoping to record that hopefully at some point as well. So we started a newsletter that we're sending out to parents. So really just trying to, you know, parents are all over the place. They're driving to work. They're trying to drop kids off at practice. They're trying to go to X, Y, and Z. And I think giving them the opportunity to digest some of this information on their own time is a little more useful now than saying, hey, we're having this meeting at 7 p.m., please show up.
Right. Yeah, no, that's great. So what other things are going on? I noticed I perused part of your newsletter. There's some basketball tournament.
Yes.
Some of it's, well, a lot of it's fun, but here's a fun thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think as part of substance use prevention, it's also recognizing that in order for kids to make smart choices, you have to offer them smart choices. And Norwood does an awesome job of that, don't get me wrong, between the schools and the rec center and the library and just everyone. They do a really great job, but we're looking to provide even more opportunities. So we're doing a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. It's going to be June 7th. I hope I have that right. It's actually on the Recreation Department's website. It's going to be registered through them. And kind of the interesting part of this 3-on-3 basketball tournament is that we're really encouraging teams to have 4 players and have one of those players be an adult if possible. Kevin McDonough, the police officer, is one on our steering committee, and he actually said that he's sure that police officers would be more than willing to join some of these teams.
Yeah, that'd be good for both.
So it's a good way to kind of make those connections in town and for some youth to maybe meet some adults they didn't know before. There's, again, a lot of data showing that the more positive relationships between youth and adults, the less likely students are to use, the less likely they are to have mental health concerns going forward. So we're just really trying to just kind of provide a positive environment for students as much as possible.
Well, it sounds like you're doing great work.
We're trying.
So don't be a stranger. Come on anytime.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Jack.
That wraps up another edition of Norwood Digest. We thank the great guests that we had. We thank the unbelievable crew here at NCM. But mostly we thank you at home for allowing us into your living rooms. Good day and keep safe.